What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today we're sitting inside of a 99 4Runner right now, and what we're going to be doing to it is we're changing the brake master cylinder and the rear wheel cylinders on this. The car has, make sure the radio is turned off. Car has 153,347 miles. Wow, I was expecting a lot more miles than that, but this is a very well taken care of car then. But like I said, only has 153,347 on a 99 4Runner. I think this is the limited edition. So let's get out there and see what we're working with. And also I'm going to show y'all how to bench bleed this right here. It is pretty simple to do so. It comes with all the ports and everything before you install it on the car. We're going to do that first before we even start taking anything off. But I want to show y'all what the master cylinder looks like, and it's got an electrical connector and two brake lines that runs to it, and then I think like 2 bolts that hold it on, and that should be pretty much everything on this. Right, there it is. Here's your connector. It's just a little push clip. Your 2 lines are going to be right there. And then there's a bracket that holds your connector, then 2 nuts right there. I don't know what you can see that one, but we're going to take this off after we bench bleed the other one, so I'm going to show you that real quick. Here is the new one. Looks just like the other one. You can see it's got the connector on it, and then comes with your ports right here to bench bleed it, and it even tells you how to do it right there. Let me find part number NMC 11345. Did get this from O'Reilly's, or not a sponsor, but let me get it over there and get it on the bench, and then we'll show y'all how to bleed it. Okay, so the way you want to do this is you want to put it in a vise on here, fill it up with brake fluid, and I always pump it 1 time without any plugs in it to get it to start dripping like that. Once the back one starts dripping, put your plug in. If I can get it to thread in. Like that. And then I'm going to do the same for the front. And now it should start. As you see, it's coming out. And then you're just going to pump it. May need to tighten that one down a little bit. Go ahead and tighten this one too. Now that those are tight, she should be getting pretty tight. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't push it in much now. Alright, now that we got that, we'll put the top back on it, and she should be ready to put on the car. So we're back at the 4Runner now, and like I said, I've already disconnected the connector. What I like to do first is I'm just going to break these lines right here loose just enough to where they're not leaking, and they're 10 millimeter. Alright, there's that. That was a little tighter. And then I'm going to take the nuts off that hold it on to the booster. I like to do this because I like to transfer the new one on as quick as possible without losing as much fluid and getting little air in the system as I can. But we're going to take these bolts right here out now. I did loosen up the lines, and I believe those are 12s. I got the socket ready. Yep, they're 12 millimeter right there. And you can get to it with a long extension. Okay, that one's loose. And then on this front one, you can go between the bottom of the lines and the bottom of the, or not the bottom, of the top of the lines and the bottom of the master cylinder. Come on, get on there. Trying to do it slow. All right. And now we can just thread them out. And once I get the nuts off, just like I said, don't forget you have this bracket for your connector. But once I get that off, I can go ahead and take the lines off and put the new one in as quickly as possible without getting air in the system if I can. I mean, you're gonna get some air no matter what, but this will minimize it if you do it this way. Before I put the other bolt on, I have the driver's side one on. I haven't torqued it yet, but on the passenger side of this, you have this little bracket right here, and what that does is it holds your brake booster vacuum line port in there. And you see that little notch right there? That little angle piece right there goes on it, and that goes on the mounting nut or stud. Cannot find a torque spec on this, so I just snugged them down, like ran them down till they seated, and then I put about another full turn on them just to make sure that they're holding. And now we're going to plug this up, make sure it fits in there nice, everything is secure. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually pull it into the bay, lift it up, and we're going to get these rear tires off and start changing out the wheel cylinders on them. So let me pull that in, get it up, and I'll be right back. We got it jacked up in the air now, and we're about ready to take the drum off. And sometimes these will slide off, sometimes they won't. This one isn't, so you may have to hit it as you're pulling it off. Of course, the other side come off way easier. I know you can adjust the adjuster right here and it'll probably go in and come out a little bit easier, but the customer isn't complaining of any brake noise or soft pedal or anything, so I'll try to leave it where it's at if I can. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this off without taking the brake assembly off of the backing pad or the axle or anything. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to break this brake line loose, and then it's a 10 millimeter, and then we're going to break, there's two bolts right there, right here and right there, and we're going to break those loose after we loosen up the actual brake line. And then once we get all that loose, you should be able to snake the wheel cylinder out from around the brake pads. I'm going to set y'all back up while I do this real quick. Also, if you don't want brake fluid getting everywhere, go ahead and put a drain pan underneath this. Have a 10 millimeter. Get the brake line broke loose, and it's a 10 millimeter that holds the bolts in too. And the hold down bolts are really short, so you don't have a lot of thread engagement on these. You probably have about 3, maybe 4 threads that engage into the actual wheel cylinder. Now we got the mounting bolts out. We'll go ahead and take the brake line loose. Brake line is loose. Just twist it and you should be able to pull it right out. And there's the old one. Here is the new one. That's Best Brake, or Brake Best, not Best Brake, but Brake Best brake components. part number WC37690. We got this from O'Reilly's as well. Like I said, they're not a sponsor. I've already put the passenger side on. Also, these are for 16-inch wheels. If you have 15-inch wheels, the part number will be different. I will put that part number up for you as well. And sometimes you may have to move these. See how that one's a little sideways? You just get a screwdriver or something and move it vertical like that. And you do have a plug in here as well. Just pull that out. Started my brake line first before I started my mounting bolts. Because you can rotate this back and forth as you need to align up the mounting bolts. Torque spec on these is 15 foot-pounds. I did not bring my little torque wrench, so we're just going to hand torque them. You'll know whenever you start to stretching that bolt, because you'll feel it on this one. Now we're going to clean it off with some brake cleaner. Do the other side as well. And you will have to bleed this. I'm going to vacuum bleed it. I'm going to go ahead and clean off the drum while I got it. So my vacuum bleeder must have a hole in it somewhere, and it wasn't working the way I wanted it to, so I got somebody to help me. They just pumped the brakes up about 3 or 4 times and held it while I opened up the bleeder screw. I started at the passenger rear, then the driver rear, passenger front, then driver's front. I always start from the furthest away from the master cylinder. So that's how I was taught. That's how I've always done it and have good success with that. And fluid is good. Pedal feels great. I'm going to take it on a test drive here in a minute just to make sure everything is good. There's no lights or any of that stuff. But this is probably going to conclude the video. If you've got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as I can. If I did anything wrong, I'll try to correct it in the comments as I always do. And y'all remember, I got Patreon and Instagram, and if you sign up for Patreon, a portion of that does go towards a charity of your choice, and I will show proof that I did it, just so everybody knows. And I appreciate all the support on all the platforms. I do have the hats, shirts, stickers. If anybody's interested, hit me up on Instagram if you want some of those. And y'all remember, torque this tight, and y'all have a great day.